Hi everybody, it's Papa Rock. The crazy old hag. Yes, I'm gonna give you good shit for that one, Bryan. Beth and I, when you least expect it, we're going to be there creeping on your property, and we're both together. We're gonna steal Bailey. When you least expect it. I'm not a hag. I'll give you crazy, but I'm not a hag. I have a lot of things to talk about today, and I'm probably going to have to do the, what does Snark call it? The jump cuts, because I've got notes all over me, because I've got all these little things to talk about, and I don't want to miss one single thing. Because I'm crazy. I got some mail. Look at this. It's a card from Jeep Girl 2. That's Joyce. And doesn't that look like Bryan's Bailey? Or at least a mature Bailey? I think so. It's a sweet little card. Thank you. It finally arrived, Joyce. I know you sent Pat's card at the same time, and this just arrived. Just a minute, I have to cough. Okay, I'm back. Also, from Jinxie, she sent this card. Isn't it cute? It was sort of a, well, it's to both Pat and myself, and it's a get well soon for Pat. Very nice, thank you both of you very much. It's always nice to get mail, don't you know? Now, what else? I have to make a little reply to Sil Lavin. He's a new subscriber. I don't know if it's a he, could be a she, I don't know. But Sil Lavin asked me about what my favorite books were. And I really struggled with this because I have very eclectic tastes and they go all across the board. And I wanted to share with you some of my favorite books. I did not go downstairs to find all of them to show you one at a time. But I can tell you, and keep in mind that my tastes change and I never know what I'm going to read next, but some of my favorites over the years. First one is Beach Music by Pat Conroy. If you haven't read Pat Conroy, he writes about the American South, and Beach Music was terrific. I really loved it. The series by Anne McCaffrey, The Dragon Riders of Pern. I enjoyed those, and I'm not a science fiction fan, but I loved those stories. Stephen King. Now, Stephen King is one of my favorite authors when I just want to sit down and read. And when I first read The Shining, years and years and years ago, he hooked me because of the way he engages his readers. I haven't enjoyed all Stephen King's books. Lizzie's Story I hated, for example, but The Shining and The Stand and many others I have absolutely loved and looked forward to. The Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden by John Steinbeck are two of my favorite classics. The Pillars of the Earth, also, well, you couldn't really call it a classic, but it's by Ken Follett, and it's an excellent story. Excellent. Nelson DeMille is also one of my favorite authors. He wrote The Gold Coast and many others that I have loved as well. Gold Coast was terrific. Canadian author Nancy Southam. She wrote a biography about Pierre Trudeau that was simply extraordinary. I loved that book. I just loved it. I almost bought 2 hardback copies so that it would always stay pristine and wonderful on my shelf. One to read, one to look at. But I didn't. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. I loved that story too. What else? Authors that I read just for fun, Michael Connelly and the Harry Bosch stories. Terrific murder mystery adventure stories about a rogue cop. Well, hero cop, sometimes rogue. Elizabeth George, I like Elizabeth George. Janet Ivanovich, pure summer fun hysterical book. John Lestrois, I like him. Dean Koontz, Ian Rankin is one of my favorites, and Peter Robinson, now a Canadian author, or deemed to be a Canadian author. There are my books. I had to cough again, sorry. I'm back. I was shopping the other day in a stationery shop because I needed envelopes that were 5x7, would fit a card 5x7. I can't find one. And I found this, the Sharpie pen. Doesn't bleed through ink, the Sharpie pen. By mistake, I got the blue. I wanted black. And I just would recommend the Sharpie pen. Go and get one. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about was, the other night I couldn't sleep, and what came into my mind was all of the things that I had to memorize as a child. Kids don't have to memorize stuff anymore. Do you notice that? And I was thinking about all of the things that I know by heart. Do you know stuff by heart? Things like, I don't know, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a cloud, a host of golden daffodils. Or a boy stood on the burning deck, eating peanuts by the peck. Or, what else? Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary. Or, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. Or, un jour, le diable vint sur terre. Un jour, le diable vint sur terre pour voir ses intérêts. Il a tout vu, le diable, il a tout entendu. Et après avoir tout vu, et après avoir tout entendu, il est descendu chez lui, là-bas. Abu Ben Adam, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep, deep dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room an angel writing in a book of gold. What else? Out, damned spot. Out, I say. Do you know stuff? Do you have stuff like that lurking in your head? Stuff that you had to memorize when you were a kid? I have lots of stuff like that. Oh, what about the corbeau et le renard? I had to learn that when I was in Montreal. Maître Corbeau sur un arbre perché tenait dans son bec un fromage. Maître Renard, par l'odeur allachée, lui tint à propos, à peu près ce langage. Bonjour, Monsieur de Corbeau. And it goes on. Did you ever have to memorize stuff? I'm exhausted now. That's it. That's all.